Here's a Russian rig. They're on rails. They look bad, but they do work. And it's been pretty tough for some of the Western countries to break in the drilling market. People, you must wrap yourself in the Russian flag. The Russians are very nationalistic. They're not quite as adamant as in Mexico's Pemex at 100%, but Putin is definitely trying to corral all the Russian natural resources under Mother Russia. And so you need your top executives should be Russians. Or you should have top executives of your companies that are Russians, let me put it that way. You can get experienced Russian crews. What we suggest, you would have expat supervisors in charge of those crews. Your senior manager of the whole country, I would suggest, should be an expat that knows you. And you should have expat financial and technical people who know your technology and also can report to you like you used to. Work visas can be difficult, and we've come up with a way, we used a way that would help us get work visas, which I'll explain a little later. The senior level of management is highly educated, often with 2 degrees. The field staff, you rotate in and out of Siberia, depending where they live. Some of the people in Siberia live in Western Siberia. Some of them live further afield. And so we rotate them between 15 on and 15 off, or 30 on and 30 off, depending how far they have to go. It's not that difficult to get really good administrative staff in Western Siberia because Moscow is so expensive that most people can't afford to live there. You have to be vigilant on alcohol abuse. I mean any alcohol. I'm talking about photocopy fluid, anything. These guys, when they want to go and party, they'll drink anything, even to the point of killing themselves. I'm not joking. So our guys, before they go out to the field, are inspected. They have to walk past the medic, and he checks every one of them before they're allowed out. Because if you have someone out on your side who's under the influence, under Russian law, he's your problem. And anything that happens is your problem. So you need to check that out. Russian exploration economics. Western Siberia is oil. Eastern Siberia has great potential, but there's no infrastructure in place. So consequently, a huge investment has to be made to explore or exploit Eastern Siberia. The Russian companies have insufficient funds to do this. In 2008, we did a study of what the netback would be to the Russian oil companies because we were kind of worried about low oil prices. So if you take an assumption of 70% domestic consumption and 30% export, and the domestic price is fixed between an oil price of $50 per barrel, the net back to the Russian oil company was about $10, and at $140, the net back to the Russian oil company was $13. The difference all went in taxes to the central Russian government. So they don't have enough money or the incentive to go and explore Eastern Siberia unless the rules are changed to provide them more funds to do that. So we do not see this happening over the next couple of years. We see them continuing to turn to their existing fields and trying to maintain or improve production as much as they can. But their big emphasis is going to be on maintaining. It is the 3rd largest frac market in the world. And it's about the only level of the Russian service industry that's totally dominated by expats. Halliburton, Schlumberger, Weatherford, BJ, Trican, and Calfrac are in Russia. in a big way, and we do most of the work. Well, one other thing before in business structures, as a rule, the contracts are given out once a year. In prior periods, there was an opportunity to get multi-year contracts, but there are so many suppliers of services right now, the Russian companies are saying, why am I going multi-year? I can just do it annually. So it's annual awards of contract on a bid basis. When we went into Russia, we set up a Russian leasing company and a Russian operating company. And the main reason we did that was the thin cap rules. The thin cap rules for a leasing company at that time were 12.5 to 1, and for a normal operating company was 3 to 1. So if you're going in with minimum capital and mostly loans, you want to try and go through a leasing company. There was one other advantage to that, is that a leasing company is allowed to import technical experts to work with the equipment it's leasing to the operating company. I think I'm going to just, I've got 2 minutes left. And so that helped us with the work visas, because the leasing company has the visas for the people, the crew supervisors, and so on that we bring in. When we went in, we formed a ZAO, which is a, I'm going to get this right, a joint stock company. And right now, there's been some changes that we have to go to an OOO, which is more like a public company. Back then, it was simpler and easier to register a ZAO. But again, that might be something you guys have to look at when you go in. We are probably going to convert, but we've been there a while. The other thing you need to watch out is that you cannot go into a negative share capital. So you need to be careful about that. And the good thing is that you can import share capital, turn around and export it out as a repayment of a loan of equipment very quickly. I'm surprised how well the Russian banking system worked as far as turning money around. Our experience is no more than 48 hours in Russia, which is pretty good. The thin cap rules, there could be ways around them, but the way Russian regulators work is that they come in and they have to find something when they come and do an audit, tax or whatever. So you don't want to give them a loophole that might be great to get after you with. So there are, in the thin cap rules, it's possible that you could argue that intercompany loans don't apply to thin cap, but it didn't make sense to us, so we didn't go there. We lived with the 12.5 and the 3.1 rule. And the only other thing, when you go there, don't get shocked. Moscow is probably one of the most expensive cities in the world. And I think that's all I have today. Thank you.